We are in the 207 Kitchen at our Maine studios today with a couple of guys who know their way around seafood. Bill Gerencer is the author of the memoir Working Waterfront. He has spent a lifetime working in the fishing and food service industries. Kerry Altiero, retired owner and chef at Cafe Miranda in Rockland. We're making oysters, hot and cold. We're going to begin with the hot. Bill, where do we start?
Well, hot oysters are a great way to introduce people to oysters because they can be a little intimidated if it's the first time trying a raw oyster. So let's try a hot one. So what we did was we made a compound butter. Chef Kerry is going to put it on real simple ingredients, parsley, a little bit of Parmesan, some garlic, some butter. He's going to pop it in the oven. It only takes a couple of minutes.
Okay. And
when it comes out, you wait till it bubbles. And if you want to brown it a little bit, you can either use a broiler or, in Kerry's case, a torch. And while we're waiting for that, I'll pop open a couple of oysters here.
And we are fortunate because Maine has arguably the best oysters in the United States of America.
If not the world. The miroir in the state of Maine is ridiculous.
Not like terroir, which is what you have with grapes and wine, but the miroir, as you call it.
One for me.
I got you covered, Chef.
You can speak here.
So when you open an oyster, it should look like the lid evaporated. If you stab it all to death, then it mixes the flavors prematurely. And by the way, ketchup is for people who don't like oysters.
And the beautiful liquid in here. And you'd call that the
liquor.
The liquor, and that is?
These come from the Mere Point Oyster Farm right here in Casco Bay.
Oh, baby.
And the plankton buffet that these feed off of is amazing.
Isn't that a band, Plankton Buffet?
It used to be. It was a punk band back in the day.
Got it.
Anyway, we're rolling.
Those are delicious.
So now let's do cold oysters, because once you graduated from hot oysters to cold oysters, I don't like to put a lot on them. I'm not a big fan of cocktail sauce, great with shrimp, but it overpowers a nice oyster. So something simple, a few drops of lemon. I like a nice mignonette, and my favorite is, there's a guy in Brunswick, Maine who makes this Blue Fire vinaigrette. He makes it out of blueberry wine and some hot peppers and a little bit of shallots, some herb de Provence, black pepper, and honey. And so we made that up here. So those are the ingredients.
Should we bring everything over here
You
for
can
you?
bring the things over there. And meanwhile,
You go ahead. We have a little bit of honey. We have some of this Blue Fire vinegar, some minced shallot, herbs de Provence, and Elvis parsley. Not Frank Cilantro. That's the crooner, Frank Cilantro.
What is your absolute favorite way to have a cold oyster?
I think the ones we just had, like straight up, like that.
I go to. I like them with a mignonette or with something in them, but I just like them pretty much every way.
Yeah, you know.
cheers.
Cheers.
And it's interesting, we don't see cooked oysters in the state of Maine too often, but you see oysters Rockefeller. That's like from the 60s, if nobody remembers that one.
That's very heavy. But this, a little bit of butter, a little bit of garlic, a little parsley, and a little Parmesan is a nice way to get an oyster. I would probably check those now. If that air fryer's hot.
I think
You want it, if they're bubbling, they're ready.
they're just about there. So I think we can take these out of here.
You can take them out.
And we can take them out,
to
and
work
we
with
can
some
give them
fire.
the torch and see how life is going to be for these little babies. Now, we've done this a couple different ways. We've done it here with the air fryer, but also you can do it in a pan like this. And if you take with a rib pan, you can set them right there and do it right on the stovetop as a roasted oyster, or take this whole pan, put it in your home oven, or just put it with the lid. And you can roast them right on the top and get the same effect.
So that could not be easier for folks at home.
And it's important not to lose the liquor.
You can do this at home, it's all right.
No, most people don't have that at home.
If they're plumbers, they got these.
No, they're
You can buy a culinary version at your local restaurant supply store.
Now, for all your pros looking at this torch control, it's pretty awesome. But there it is. You have the little bubbling. You have all the flavors of the Parmesan. Now, my Italian grandmother would say, no formaggi con pesce. However, in this case, because we're in Maine and these are oysters, and who cares what my grandmother said, we can put the cheese with the seafood.
Well, let's try
Beautiful. Well, okay. So, how hot are they?
I was going to say, are we going to have third-degree burns on the tongue here?
They're not
This
chef
could be-
hands, they're dishwasher hands.
All right. You mean hydroceramic engineer hands?
Correct.
That is it. I think you can go right in there, sir.
Well, no, after you. I didn't mean,
Oh, yeah,
I
that's
didn't
all
mean to cut in line.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I mean, how do you go wrong with butter and garlic? Like, can you go wrong with that ever? Then there's another little trick that Bill was showing us about using, notice the proliferance of tinfoil? How about that? Like, poof, there's your buffet plate with these little nuggets of foil.
And what's the purpose of the tinfoil on the?
It's so it doesn't roll over and you don't lose all the beautiful liquor that we were talking about earlier, or the butter, or whatever you're saucing it with.
Oh, you have plenty of tinfoil at home because it's on your TV antenna. The recipe for the roasted oysters
I cut the cable. I went for the bunny ears.
is on our website now. Go to newscentermaine.com, the 207 section. That's where you're going to find the recipe for the roasted oysters. We'll maybe have some guidelines for the mignonette and how to make that for your
All of
cold
it.
oysters. 2 different kinds of oysters. Get your fresh Maine oysters. That's the key, right, Bill?
That sure is. And local is great. And we have, like I said, some of the best oysters in the world growing right here in the state of Maine.
Farm to table? How about ocean to table? It's right over there.
Kerry, Bill, thank you so much. Stick around. Back with more of 207 right after this.